Hey, what's going on? In this video, I'm going to talk about one of the key principles to maximizing your success in life, which is to build the best you possible. Okay, so everybody talks about that, be the best you can be all that you can be, all that good stuff, but they don't really talk about how to do that. Okay, and over the past 20 years of working with personal training clients, working with business clients, entrepreneurs, that type of person who are always kind of trying to be better to create more change in their life, there's been some key principles that have really stood out. And the people that understand these, the people that work to improve in these ways, they really do achieve that higher level of success. Versus if you kind of just hope for the best or keep trying to throw yourself into situations and hoping you're going to improve, maybe it's possible, but let's try to be a little more intentional about it. So today I'm going to talk about 3 different areas where you can really work directly on yourself and kind of break those down a little bit to give you sort of a step-by-step plan to make improvements and to become the best self you can be. Because let's be honest, things in the world right now seem pretty topsy-turvy, but ultimately things are always pretty topsy-turvy. You know what I mean? Like, it just sort of shifts around a little bit. But with that, that means that there's only so much you can really kind of hold on to the world taking care of you, so to speak. Instead, you need to be able to look out for yourself and be more self-reliant. So that comes down to, again, building the best you possible. Ultimately, what holds a lot of us back is anxiety, right? And I don't mean clinical, see a professional anxiety, but subclinical anxiety, where you're not really sure what to do. You kind of end up in that reactive mode, or you end up in that freeze mode. That holds a lot of us back. And so the equation to understand that is that anxiety is uncertainty times incapability, right? So, or unpreparedness, depending on how you want to look at it. And that's why it's important to work on you, because ultimately you kind of don't know all that much about what's going to happen, right? There's always going to be a certain level of uncertainty. And as uncertainty rises, that puts your natural anxiety at a higher state, right? So if you combine that with low confidence, you combine that with not being able to take care of yourself, and I don't mean like in the general sense of like, your job or washing clothes or, what I mean, like that. But I mean, like, if you feel like you're not up for the task of whatever it may be, that's going to send your anxiety through the roof. Conversely, if you feel more confident in yourself and your abilities, then you're going to do a much better job of being able to mitigate that uncertainty, and you're going to end up with a lower anxiety, which means you're going to be able to make better decisions, which this whole thing is all about making better decisions, because the better decisions you make, the better your life is going to be. So let's get into it. First off, let's get into the body, right? So the physical way you make yourself better, the physical aspect of taking care of yourself, that's huge, because that's something you can control for the most part, and it also is going to have a huge effect on everything you do. Okay, so first, we talk about good nutrition, and I'm not going to get into the specifics of this stuff in this video. That's outside the scope of it. But fueling your body with good nutrition, and in general, you kind of know what good nutrition is. You know that you're going to be better off eating some lean meat, some fruits and vegetables, drinking plenty of water, versus eating junk food every day, right? You know that, right? So what you put into your body is important, because that gives you that energy to actually go do things and feel good, okay? Next is some sort of physical training, and again, whatever it is that you prefer. I'm not going to get into specifics in this video. There'll be other videos, but some sort of physical activity and moving is important, because we're, as humans, we're designed to move. We're built to move. And in our current society, we can kind of get away with not moving very much. It used to be that you had to walk everywhere. You had to procure your own food. The act of making food was physical. Washing clothing was physical. Any sort of activity, most of our jobs were physical. They were on farms, or they were building something or repairing something or something like that. So those were all physical activities, and that kept us active, and that's what we're built to do. But Nowadays, many people can live their whole life day to day with barely moving at all. They get up, they sit down to eat breakfast, they go to work, they sit all day at work. They drove there, they took the train, they come home, same way. They sit, watch TV, play on the computer, play on their phone, they go to bed. You can live your whole life with very minimal physical activity, right? And that's fine, except that your body is designed to move. So if you don't move, your energy keeps ratcheting down. So if you want to feel more physical, feel more capable, feel more energy, you're going to want to start to move. Okay? That's absolutely important. So right now we've got better food, we've got some sort of movement activity. Next is your recovery. Okay? We don't sleep well. Most of us don't pay attention to our recovery. We don't meditate, we don't sleep, we don't do something to kind of relax us. So we just get more and more amped up. We watch the news, we watch things that piss us off on YouTube, get into arguments on social media. All these things, they create more and more anxiety. They make us more nervous, and they don't help us recover. We're designed to work hard, and then we're designed to recover hard. So make use of that. So as far as the physical goes, start trying to cover your bases if you don't already. Give yourself the biggest runway you can. Eat good quality food, get your water in, do some sort of physical activity, recover well, pay attention to those. Do those things well, and you're going to be setting yourself up to have a much more successful whatever it is that you try to do, because you're going to feel good and you're going to feel like you have energy and vitality, right? Next, we get into the mental side of it. So on the mental side, if you want to be successful in whatever you do, you want to feel like you have that, kind of background that you can be successful. You want to build up your, skill stack, right? So a skill stack is really simple. I'm going to probably get into it in a deeper video, but it's basically just a combination of skills that grow off each other that allow you to handle a lot of situations. So the tendency is for our culture to get very, very specialized in whatever it is we do, and that's good. In that it makes us really good at whatever it is we do. Like you become the best programmer in Python around, or you become the best neurosurgeon around, or whatever, all those things. Then that's good. That's good as far as your job goes. But it doesn't give you a lot of experience in the rest of your life. And again, because just like with the movement wise, our society is such that we can be pretty secure most of the time, which is awesome. We are not required to build up a lot of skills, okay? But that means that there's big holes. So spend some time intentionally building other skills. Learn a foreign language, know how to change a tire, know how to cook food, know how to fix a bookshelf, like something like that that's outside of your norm, or even within kind of your norm. Learn other skills within what you do. Like if you work at a warehouse, learn how to drive the forklift and learn how to manage the inventory system. Things like that. The more stuff you can do, the more well-rounded you are skills-wise. Even if you're not an expert, the more you can kind of have a sense of that, the more secure you're going to be, because you know that you can then jump off into other things. And you know that if you need to, you can kind of refine those skills that you were kind of just using as secondaries. You know that, okay, well, hey, here's how I can bring it up to the forefront if I need to. So next is to look for opportunities, because any time of chaos, any time of confusion, there's going to be opportunities to be had. And people don't look for opportunities as a skill. People kind of, if an opportunity clubs them over the head, they may grab it. But if you're always looking for an opportunity, you're going to be able to be much more successful, because you're going to see it a little bit before most other people do. So look for the opportunity that matches your skill set, and you'll eventually find something. When you do, hammer on that. And then the next is kind of, this depends on other people a little bit, but it's something that if you cultivate it within yourself, it'll grow. And that is build a network and know where to look for help. Okay, so, we're pack animals as humans, and, our society is very connected. So as a result, we don't tend to do well on our own. Okay. And so we'll naturally build a network and build connections of people in our lives. That's a good thing. But if you're a little more intentional about it and you know that you have a goal that you want to reach, whatever that may be, find people that either already are there or find people that are trying to get there or that in some way are going to facilitate that goal and spend time with them. You know, it doesn't need to be sneaky, it doesn't need to be devious or anything like that. It's just you're putting yourself in the position to find success. If you want to become a great business person, you're going to be a lot more successful if you hang out with other business people versus hanging out with people who are happy working 9 to 5s. This only makes sense. So find a network and find people that are going to facilitate your goals, and then work on, as an active skill, work on building up that network. And then the third area is working on yourself, not little s self, but big s self. Work on your soul. Work on your, your sense of being. And this isn't religious. Whatever it is your beliefs are, that's totally fine. It's none of my business. But the thing is we as people, we connect to something bigger than us, right? Even if you don't believe in anything, that's still a belief. So you need something that kind of gets you connected to something bigger. And now again, this doesn't need to be a deity, it doesn't need to be religious, but get clarity. It's kind of my 3 clarities when it comes to the self that I work with. Get clarity of your goals, like what it is you're actually trying to do. Like what is the big, better version of what you're trying to do, okay? And then from there, what is the purpose behind it? What are you trying to accomplish, and why are you trying to accomplish it? What is your big purpose for doing it? Not just your desire, but your bigger than you purpose. And finally, get some clarity on perspective of things. A lot of times we get so myopic on our goals. We get so focused on what our goals are. We get so focused on even why we're trying to accomplish it. We get really deep in there. And that's a good thing. But it's kind of like the specialization. We don't really get a sense of what it is that we're trying to do relative to everything else. So sometimes take a step back and get your perspective. See, where what you're trying to accomplish, where that fits in the grand scheme of things. See where you fit in the grand scheme of things. See where your goals, your desires fit in the grand scheme of things. Try to get a little clarity and perspective around that. Because what that's going to do is that's going to help you clarify all this stuff for yourself. And that is going to knock down your uncertainty. Getting back to our earlier equation of uncertainty and preparedness. So the more you can knock down that uncertainty, the more clear you can get on what it is you're trying to accomplish. All the noise doesn't matter nearly as much. So the first 2 areas were really all about building up your preparedness so you feel confident in yourself. And then the third piece is really about knocking down the uncertainty, getting really clear on what you're trying to accomplish, and really clear on what you're focused on. Because then that knocks down that anxiety, and the lower that anxiety is, the more likely you are to follow through. So does that make sense? In order to be the best you that you can be, you need to actually be intentional on building up that you. That's huge. So until the next time, I'm done for today. My name is Isaac. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a comment below if you agree, if you disagree, if there's pieces that you want to get into a little bit. And also hit like and subscribe. I appreciate it. And we'll see you next time.